WrestleMania is this Sunday at the Superdome.
Let's do it.
In New Orleans. 4-hour show plus a 2-hour pre-show. So 6 hours total. I think, is it the first hour of the pre-show is on YouTube and everything else, and then the second hour is on the network exclusively? Is that how it is?
That's right. And, you know, just to move off to the side, we had this conversation earlier, and a shout-out to all of our international listeners who have complained they're not going to see the second hour of the pre-show, which will contain the Tag Team Championship match.
Right. And there were people on Twitter writing into... I think it was the official WWE Network Twitter asking them about that, and the great response people were getting was, in so many words, we don't know. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask. Oh, that's great. That's a big help to those people. So I don't know that they really thought this out the way they should have. It's unfair. I can understand why those people would be very upset. And it goes to what I wanted to talk about here. The pre-show match is indeed the Tag Team Championship match. We have the Usos defending against the Real Americans, defending against Ryback and Curtis Axel, who, as I've said before, are allergic to victory.
Right.
Okay. Can't win a match to save their life, but they got a tag team title match. And, oh God, who's the Matadors. Now
and the Bull.
Yeah, and the Bull.
The Bull will be out there.
Oh, this is Bull. This is Bull. Now, I have nothing against Primo and Epico, Fernando and Hernando, whatever the hell their names are. Very good wrestlers. Good athletes. At least they're getting TV time. That's all well and good. Of course, they didn't get TV time on Raw for a few months until one day they just decided, hey, I guess their father/uncle or whatever is going into the Hall of Fame, and so we should put them on TV and give them a tag. I don't know what the rationale was for putting them in that match and keeping Cody and Goldust in a battle royal. 2 men among 30. And I'm sure they'll be dumped out accordingly. Unless they have some angle plan to split them up and they're going to do it in the Battle Royal. I don't know. Why would they not be part of that tag team title match? Why would Ryback and Curtis Axel and the Matadors? You have 4 spots in this match. Cody and Goldust, up until recently, were probably one of the hottest acts in that entire company. Were they not? Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. I mean, we saw them compete in that match with the...
it was against the Shield. They had multiple matches with the Shield.
They had but the one where their jobs were on the line.
That was awesome.
And his father was there.
That was phenomenal. The only saving grace of that Battleground pay-per-view was that match.
Since that match, I can't think of another multi-man match that has had so much hype than the Wyatts versus the Shield. The Shield is the common denominator there, but the Shield didn't make that first match with the Rhodes. The Rhodes... There was a compelling story. Goldust is awesome.
Goldust is great. He's 44, I want to say. 40.
He's doing better than when he was 34.
He's phenomenal. And hey, part of that may be the DDP yoga. He's big into the DDP yoga.
God bless him.
But anyway, so they were relegated to a battle royal, but the tag team title match is on the pre-show. Now there's a few people on our Facebook group page who think, oh, it's just wrestling fans bitching for no reason. They're on the pay-per-view. It's on the network, so it's all the same. It doesn't matter. Well, it does matter. There's a perception of being on the pre-show as opposed to being on the main card. And then you think about the international listeners or the international viewers who are probably not going to be able to see that match because people outside the U.S., unless you have to jump through hoops. I'm sure you can get the network if you tried. But my understanding is that those people will not be able to see that pre-show match. And that's not fair to them, and that's not fair to the wrestlers. And the people I feel sorry for are Cesaro and the Usos, because the Usos deserve better. And Cesaro, we were here a year ago. We talked about it on this show, episode 268, on WWE.com. They had training videos. Cesaro's in training for WrestleMania, and I think
it's trained for a meet and greet.
I think I joked, training for what WrestleMania? WrestleMania 30, 31 maybe, and he was the U.S. champion. I believe.
Apparently, he wasn't even training for WrestleMania 30.
I believe he was the U.S. champion at that time, which yet another U.S. champion who is just meant to be nothing. So Cesaro didn't even have a match on the show. He was doing meet and greets 2 hours, 3 hours before WrestleMania last year, on the outside looking in. Now he's in a better position than he was a year ago, but now he's relegated to the pre-show.
2 titles are being defended at WrestleMania.
That's right.
2 titles.
That's just how it is. And I still have people who write into me, should they add a TV title Should they have a 6-man tag team title so the Shield can hold them? We don't need more titles. We need, if anything, we need less titles. We do not need more titles.
Whoever suggested that TV title is going to be the WWE Network title.
Well, call it whatever you want to. If it is the network title, I'm sure that title will also be neglected.
They only defend it on the network.
So what's your prediction for this match? My prediction is the Usos are leaving tag team champions. It's way too early to take the belts off them, so the Usos are my pick.
You know, it's funny. When you go to any WWE event, they show a recap of that prior year's WrestleMania. And you mentioned on the Solomonster Sounds Off a few weeks ago that they removed CM Punk from said intro or package. They took away the CM Punk thing. They hate CM Punk so much. It's not a work, by the way. So, you know, I was thinking...
We should talk about Punk at some point because there's been a lot of talk about him this weekend.
Yeah, he's hanging out on Bourbon Street drinking some daiquiris.
Sure. We spotted him, man. He was drinking. He was stumbling. I think he had a needle sticking out of his arm. Straight edge my ass.
That's been a work for years. Everyone knows that. On the other shoulder, he has, Bacardi.
A Bacardi tattoo.
Yeah.
Is that masked by the Pepsi tattoo on his
He
arm?
likes his Pepsi and Bacardi.
I see.
No, but, boy, you know...
Johnny Walker.
I just pictured when we saw the, when I was thinking in my mind, boy, the highlights of WrestleMania 30 that hasn't even happened yet. An Uso win, them not having the tag team championships, going in there, an Uso win against the New Age Outlaws. I don't care. I don't see why the Usos would not retain...
Does make sense.
Unless the WWE feels, this will be a great way to, build excitement. Build excitement on what, though? Because this might as well be WrestleMania. This is a closed pre-show. This is a pre-show to people that have already purchased WrestleMania. This might as well be fucking WrestleMania. Why is this a pre-show anyway?
Right.
The only people that don't get to see this, as far as we know right now, are international viewers and the people that buy it on traditional pay-per-view. Those are the people that you're not allowed to see this. And the irony is, all of the people that are eligible to see this have purchased the network. So really, you pay $70 for the WrestleMania on traditional pay-per-view, you don't even get the pre-show.
Right.
Unless they show it on the pay-per-view channel before, which I have a feeling they may, especially because of this international
Well, we'll
backlash.
see. But and by the way, I want to mention this again. I've said it before. People are still asking me, what should I do? Do you think that the stream is going to go out? How is it going to be? If you're watching WrestleMania on the network, tweet me during the show. I'll be there in the arena, but I want to know how the feed is going. I'm very curious to see how this feed is because I've gotten people posting pictures on my Facebook page, fatal error messages when they try to, and this is not even a live stream. People are still having issues, and I don't think it's just Xbox. I think it's across platforms. They claim, hey, the stream's going to be fine. I say it won't be. I say it won't be completely flawless. My advice to you, if you have the money and you want to watch WrestleMania, buy it on traditional pay-per-view and just avoid the stress of the feed going out during the pay-per-view. One of our listeners, Daniel, had an interesting idea. What if they do the split between the Real Americans? Because they're still building to that split between Cesaro and Swagger. If they do it at the pay-per-view, which I think they will, I think there'll be something will happen at this pay-per-view that will result in a rift.
At the pay-per-view?
At the pay-per-view.
What do you mean?
Well, something will happen.
At the pre-show.
You know what I mean.
It's not the pay-per-view.
Okay. Semantics here.
All right.
A miscommunication of some kind. Something. I think that there was an angle. Was there an angle on TV last week, maybe SmackDown or something, or main event, where Zeb Coulter smacked Cesaro and Cesaro sold it like he wanted to kill him, but he didn't. So this is clearly building to something. Daniel suggested that maybe they do the split at the pay-per-view in their match that then leads to a match on the actual pay-per-view later in the night, because they only have 7 matches on the card. They could add one more if they wanted to. And that would be a way to get Cesaro on the card. It's an idea. I could see them do, I'm not saying they will, I could see them doing something like that. They've added matches at the last minute to pay-per-views. At least he would get a pay-per-view slot if they did that. Cesaro versus Swagger.
How long have they had New Orleans planned for WrestleMania?
Oh, well over a year.
I mean...
Well over a year. It's the only thing that they actually have good planning for.
Can't they have the card?
It's the only commitment they can make long term is to these cities for WrestleMania every year.
Can't they just have the card set in and just present the card
as
advertised?
Impossible.